it's going to be different this time than last time. It's going to be different this time than certainly than I don't know. Like they're just going to handle this better than COVID or something like that.
Yeah.
But for the record, Nicolas Maduro and his wife have been seized, kidnapped. I think is the word.
Yeah.
And again, no love lost for Nicolas Maduro certainly, but
Yeah, he's not awesome.
no, he's not awesome at all. But there's a lot of not awesome in the world, and I think that's the bigger concerning part for a lot of people, because this could be, as Trump's brain. I mean, he looks like hammered crap this morning in this interview. Now he was up all night, but he's usually up all night. So, and apparently he's got the energy of 1,000 bulls or something like that. But one of the most, there are a few things that are crazy about this, us invading a country, us kidnapping their, seizing their president and first lady,
Yeah.
which is just like bizarre. And I want to play.
Be brief.
Hold on, let me pause this for a second. I'm going to play a little piece of what Trump said after the first break. But we are now, all this talk of Canada being the 51st state, now Venezuela is the 51st state. We are right now, insofar as anyone knows, we are in charge of Venezuela. Oil companies from the United States are going to be blitzing the country over the next, I don't know if they're not already there, taking over the entire oil industry. And I guarantee we are going to be doing more military strikes against alleged, drug cartels and traffickers and the like. Never knowing if it's, people who are just aligned with the president that they picked. The FARC style groups that are there that are going to fight back against an invading force in their country. This is a quagmire waiting to happen. And
Those files must
it
be
almost,
really bad.
yes, for about, it's weird, but for about 10 minutes this morning on the news after the announcement, before I think Trump went on Fox, where it was like presented as like Operation Over and Done. Like we got him, that's that. Then the details started to flood in, and they were about 40 minutes late for their presser this morning. And Trump announces that, because not only did we do massive on-land military strikes in a foreign country that we have not declared war on, and seized the president, and again, the first lady is the odd part. I mean, maybe it's better for her own safety. I don't know. In the power vacuum that occurs once your husband, the president, has been removed by another country. But, I mean, this is old school neocon regime change on steroids. And after Trump announces, though, that we toppled the government of Venezuela last night at 4 o'clock in the morning, where he was apparently very surprised it was dark. It was dark everywhere, so dark. The darkness. Darkness. That, I guess, over the course of this, I see, maybe that's it. Yeah. Over the course of him talking more about this and making these statements, he literally said, we are going to be running the place until a judicial transfer can occur. Which, by the way, does not mean a democratic transfer. Does not mean we're holding it till elections. What he means is we're going to hold it and run it, whatever that means, until we put in the opposition, who are friends of Marco Rubio and that crowd and have been lobbying them for a while now to do something about Maduro. And I guess we will have some sort of farcical news or announcement that the judges in that country have now do over, branch in the road. We're gonna install the government of the guys we like. And when has that not ever worked
He's
out?
not good at running this place.
He's like, what? Sorry?
He's not good at running this place. Now he's taking on another one.
Weird audio. There you go. Sorry. I'm getting the flurbley audio on my end. Hopefully it's not going over the live stream that way, but we'll work on it. Let's take a break real quick, and then I want to come back and I want to play that piece of audio and see if I can get that business up and running, because I'm very seldom shocked by this kind of stuff, and I was very distinctly shocked by this. It was, bizarre. We'll be back. This, and then check, and then Can you check for me, Johnny?
Checking one,
check
two. Check one, check two.
It's an issue. Hold on. Working it out on my end. I'm not quite sure what the issue is here.
Chat says it sounded okay over there, so maybe
you can hear me okay though, right? That's the annoying part.
Yeah, maybe it's your headphones.
All right, you guys got 60 seconds. Do you need more time, Hal?
Hal, did you hear Chicago?
Check two.
Check one, check two. Like 45 seconds. Can you hear us?
Give me a minute.
Yeah, it's the headphones.
You're right on the money, Johnny.
Yeah. It's got to be the headphones.
Almost.
Yeah. Check one, two. Check one, two. Check one, two.
Keeping talking.
Check one, two.
All right.
Chicago's, we probably, I don't know, have 20 seconds now.
21 seconds, Johnny. I'm impressed. You're the closest without going over. This Price is Right.
Wow. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
I love when Johnny gets to fill for me at this point. So it's I know it's your strong suit.
Johnny and Hal, come on down.
Can you hear Chicago, Hal?
Just keep at it. The key though.
This is Tom Hartman, and you're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program.
Coming back or if we're already back, just so I know.
We're
already back. Oh, good to know. Okay, cool. As long as you can hear me, that's fine. I think it's a monitoring issue on my side, but we shall see what we shall see. So the give me 1 second while I try to remedy this nonsense. There we go. Hopefully that'll remedy it. Maybe, I don't know.
Check one, two.
It's just being funky. Maybe this.
We can hear you.
On my monitors, and I'll just do the old-fashioned the background monitor aspect of things.
Check one, two. Check one, two.
Yep, I hear you just fine. Hopefully, there's not too much of an echo, but hopefully, I've got echo cancellation on, so maybe that'll help. All right, so sounds much better. Anyways, sound okay to you?
It does.
Excellent. Okay, so Trump was talking he comes out. Well, let's play a little bit of what he says right out of the gate. And you can hear, I think, and make sure that this...
And early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the Capitol. Launch a spectacular assault, and it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II.
Bizarre. Like, I don't know why he thinks this is a brag.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones, like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi.
Which, again, these were just like drone airstrikes.
And the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites
which by the way, Iran has declared war on us and is reconstituting their nuclear powers and aren't ever going to stop now because they recognize, I think, possibly rightly so, that their safety only exists if they have the mutual assured destruction window. I mean, everybody lusts after what Russia has in terms of being able to protect themselves, and everybody being afraid to poke the bear.
Just recently, in an operation known as Midnight Hammer, all perfectly executed and done.
Absolutely. This, by the way, the Venezuelan attack was called Midnight Diddy, just for people keeping score.
No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time.
Also, I don't know what that means. Yesterday, frankly, a short period of time.
All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was
dark.
The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have.
Yes, they pulled the plug.
It was dark.
What apparently, because it was the middle of the night, it was very dark. Also, I don't think he realizes it when he's watching night vision. Right? Like, all right.
And it was deadly.
The dark was deadly, just in case you're keeping score.
Captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York. It's Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens.
Also, by the way, they're being charged for possession of machine guns and explosive devices, which, curiously enough, I'm fairly certain that could be said of every president of every country.
I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're a respected country again, like never before.
Wow.
These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out.
I think they could hear you coming, pretty sure.
In the sea, we're just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming. So they were in what's called a ready position.
Again, this is just phrases he hears from his military people, and he just repeats them. He says something along the lines of the speed and violence. They use the term speed and violence. Like, no, they use the words speed and violence. That's not a term.
But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see.
We'll get to see it because there will be trials.
Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost.
We had injured. By the way, we had injured soldiers, and a helicopter was struck.
We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far, with capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have. And you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills 25, on average, 25,000 people.
That's, again, such a bizarre assertion, but whatever. Okay.
We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time.
This is the part. This is the part that I think set heads on fire everywhere. This is this piece. Hold on one second.
As we can, we're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious.
I agree. Don't you agree, Johnny Million, that it should be judicious?
Yeah, it's got to be judicious.
Unlike the attack where we actually took them.
Because that's what we're all about.
We are. That's what it's all about. The judiciousness and the hokey pokey.
We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela.
Even if we have to serve it to them at the end of a gun.
And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen.
Good Lord.
We're there now.
Yeah, this is the other part. We're going to run the place. Listen, I don't even know that they've made a case about this, certainly not to Congress. This is maddening. We're there now. We're running Venezuela as of this morning.
And what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this.
Okay. Sure.
We're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially. Until
Jesus. Like that. Like, this is so insane. This part of it, like, it's bad enough what he did. Like, it's an act of war. He conducted it without anything from, and this, by the way, this traces back to the authorized use of military force, dealing with terrorists, his reclassification of drug cartels as terrorists, and anybody aligned with them is now a terrorist. So this is a terrorist action. This gives him the powers of war almost entirely to the president, and it is, if there's ever an obvious, ad infinitum, ad absurdum version of the AUMF being used to basically start a new war, it's this. Because he's declared that the president of a country, the actual government, whatever you think of it, is a terrorist organization. Therefore, I don't have to declare war on a narco state ever again. Like, the president could invade Colombia next. This is to get a southern position on Panama for the technocracy of America that Elon Musk and those guys were serving up to him. But we're there now. Just like, have that kind of settle in.
Till such time as a proper transition can take place.
Also, what does proper mean? What does judicious mean?
As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a total bust for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping.
This is his primary justification for this war, by the way. Like, drugs, whatever. We've seized more, we seized these oil tankers and this stuff, but they're not producing enough oil. And therefore, that's more than any other driving force. That's what led him to attack. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this with more of the announcement and some of what he said on Fox News, which was equally batty and more freewheeling. The response from maggots by and large is going to be extraordinary. We'll be back. It's the Hellsparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. Mm-hmm.
The chat is saying my echo is really bad.
Sorry. Yeah, hold on one second. Let's see. I should be able to do the thing of the thing. All right. You can't. Oh, because. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Preferences.
Chat, quit telling me to fix the echo. We're working on it.
Yeah, he can't. It'll do that. Okay. Let's see. Echo.
Echo. Check 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry about that. The weird part is if I put the headphones have been acting weird and kind of squirrely, and I'm not quite sure why. I know. Hold on.
Oh.
What?
Do we need more than 40 seconds?
No, we do not.
Okay.
Excuse me. Sorry. Old school. The problem with headphones is that they're always like Christmas lights. No matter how you think you've got them rolled up,
Yeah.
it's Christmas Vacation every time.
Some people
Now back to
more.
Hal Sparks on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT AM.
Welcome back. Remedying my ongoing audio struggles currently until such time as
Check 2?
check something or other. That I think we should be able to get some of that remedy. But the issue, of course, I guess for MAGA right now. Oh yeah, we are on monitor. Okay, good. Yeah, excellent. Okay, I'll turn it.
You can see us on the YouTube.
Hey, look at that. Go figure. But Trump called into Fox News this morning, and I gotta say, like, for as gibberishy as I have to bring up the history on this thing. I guess. Yeah, this is his business on Fox News this morning. They had. Yeah, he called in to give them kind of. It's hard to even say, like, his version of what happened.
President, critics will say that strong action can risk escalation, but history has shown us that.
By the way, she was given like straight up lines. Like everybody on Fox News this morning, one of the delays in talking about this on Fox News was that the hosts were given obvious, clear, prepackaged questions to ask him and a way to help him frame it.
And they broke into places that were not really able to be broke into. You know?
Again, apparently there was a steel door. Is the thing at the property, but where Maduro and his wife and him had a panic room. That's exactly what this was, and for good reason apparently. Right.
You know, steel doors that were put there for just this reason, and they got taken out in a matter of seconds. I've never seen anything like it. Actually.
And you were able to watch this in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, as all of our presidents do. Like, I don't know why this is, the miracle of modern technology. I don't know who they're talking to with this.
92, the war's been on TV.
Yeah.
And don't forget, I've done some pretty good ones in other parts of the world. Okay.
Don't
I've done
forget.
some pretty good ones, but
Soleimani.
I've never seen anything like this. I was able to watch it in real time, and I watched every aspect of it, and I listened to the communication between, where we were in Florida and out in the field in Venezuela. And it was amazing to see the professionalism, the quality of leadership, the professionalism. General Raisin Kane is fantastic. Don't forget, we did another one not so long ago. It was called the knocking out of the Iranian nuclear threat.
Yeah, that's exactly what I call it. Yeah,
that was on
Operation
all the paperwork.
Yeah, Operation Knocking Out of the Iranian Nuclear Program.
The nuclear power, and that was unbelievable what they did there. And this is something that, I don't know, it's amazing. And to have
I don't know.
a few injuries.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Can you think of a more trite and simple-minded way of describing what this actually was.
Well, this is the dude who's like, hey, you know, my building's the tallest in New York now that the World Trade Center's gone.
Right.
That's his brain,
No
man.
Yep.
On our side is really amazing.
Mr. President, critics will say that strong action can risk escalation, but history has shown us that weakness can truly invite chaos. And this military operation clearly sends a message to our adversaries around the world, China, Iran, Russia, that we are no longer the weak administration that we had for 4 years under former President Biden, who tolerated narco-terrorism. What is next for the United States and Venezuela?
Well, we're very strong, and very importantly, if you look at drugs through the oceans, through the seas,
sea drugs
down 97%. That's the boats. It's sort of related to this, as you know. The drugs are way down, and it's getting very, very tough. It's a whole different look. We have a whole different country. We have a country now that's respected. We have a country. I built the military in my first term, and they gave a little chunk of it away, but it was a lot. But it was a little chunk relative to what we built.
It was so bad before, and he made it worse.
Yes, right. Yeah, this is, top to tails, this is absurd. This is insane. And this is unconstitutional. And I think at one point in this interview, he says, they keep, Democrats just complain. They're like, why don't they say good job instead of saying it's unconstitutional? Well, the fact that something is unconstitutional countermands the idea that it would be a good job, I think, amongst other things.
They gave it to Afghanistan so stupidly. It was one of the... Compare this to Afghanistan, where we were a laughing stock all over the world. We're not a laughing stock anymore. No, we have the greatest military in the world by far. We have the greatest military equipment in the world by far. And you had to see this in real time. You had to see this, the professional...
Also, by the way, if any of you have seen the video that's showing up on social media that people are posting in Caracas of the city being bombed, the lights aren't out. Like, you can see the entire city. So, again, Trump thinks the lights are out literally because he was watching night vision.
And the bravery, everything about it. And you almost couldn't hold them back. It was like they wanted to go so badly, and most people would have said, I'll take a pass. I know that Charlie would have wanted to go because Charlie's...
this is that whole thing about, like, the Navy guys have salt water in their veins, and they just want to do this, and coal miners just want a coal mine. You know what I mean? I could give them a really fancy apartment, and they'd go, no thanks, I'd rather be in a coal mine. This, like... That
salt water in their veins. You have that salt water. Don't let the doctors change it. Keep it, because there's nothing like it. There's no blood like it.
He's a very brave person, but I know a lot of other people would have said, "I think I'll pass on this one. Let's watch it on television."
Yeah, let's laugh it up,
darling.
It's been amazing to see how good they were. How professional they were, how incredible the equipment we have is. I mean, the level of equipment and to see how it worked so perfectly. And, if you compare this to...
Again, gibberish.
Attacks on Iran over the years with helicopters crashing into each other. The whole thing was a mess.
Also, attacks on Iran where helicopters were crashing into each other. Again... I think he means the attempt to get the hostages during the Iran crisis in the 70s.
The Jimmy Carter situation, which was a mess, and every other situation compared to
because Ronald Reagan and the Republicans were making a deal. Yeah, right. And by the way, time moves forward. Of course, now the technology we have, compared to what they had in the 70s, might make things like this go a little smoother, anyways. But he wants to take credit for it.
Nobody's ever seen like this. Look, the Iranian attack, knocking out their nuclear power was big. We had peace in the Middle East, and we have it. Without that, you could never have peace in the Middle East. We knocked them out, and look what's happening now to Iran, but we knocked it out. That was, it could not have been better, and this could not have been better. I don't even know which is which is, these are both really important. If you think about equal and importance, I wonder how it's going to be rated, but knocking out the
rated, like he's literally
rated like we're war criminals and we're worse than Russia is how it's going to be rated.
Right. Well, and also he's not looking. It's not a war for oil. It's not a war for against drugs. It's a war for ratings. Like this dude is still. He wants the hell with the Nobel Peace Prize. This guy's still trying to get an Emmy for this stuff.
The nuclear power of. Think of it. They were ready. They were within 2 months. They would have been a nuclear power. And comparing that to this in a certain different way, I think this might have been actually more complex.
Well, it's interesting.
That was something that was amazing.
It's interesting, Mr. President. We've looked, our own Lucas Tomlinson, our reporter here. I don't know if you knew this intentionally, but the capture of Maduro and his wife coincides with the 6th anniversary of your taking out the Iranian Revolutionary Guard's Qasem Soleimani. Interestingly, it's 6 years after. But let me ask you a question, Mr. President. Because
by the way, that was the third thing, and we have a fourth. We got Soleimani. We have taken out so many. Look at what we did to the leader of ISIS, who's no longer with us, right? And everybody was after for 20 years, and we got him. We've done a lot, but this was something maybe.
I don't know what the fourth thing was. I think he loses track
because it's fresh. It's fresh in our minds, because again, the Iranian situation was so big, knocking that out, and the B-2 bomber, every single missile hit its target, and the target was an air.
Honest to God, beyond the fact that we are now running Venezuela, the other scariest thing about this nonsense is that he talks about it like golf. He talks about it like it was watching somebody play golf. Like, what a swing. What a, like the grip he had on that club, his stance, all that kind of stuff. That's exactly what he's, how he interprets all these things.
Air shaft.
Right.
Dark at night. Think of that. Dark at night, no moon. You couldn't see a thing, and every missile went right through that air shaft and just obliterated the place. Cool. That was amazing. And
by the way, the fact that he
should ought to seen it.
Yeah. By the way, the fact that he thinks that we eyeball targeting in 2025 like it's Luke Skywalker, bullseyeing womp rats in his T-16.
This was amazing.
I wonder, Mr. President, though, I want to ask you because from your Vice President, J.D. Vance, said that the message is pretty clear. The drug trafficking must stop. So was this operation a message that you're sending to Mexico, to Claudia Sheinbaum, the president there?
Well, it wasn't meant to be, and we're very friendly with her. She's a good woman, but the cartels are running Mexico. She's not running Mexico. The cartels are running Mexico. And we could be politically correct and be nice and say, oh, yes, she is. No, she's very, she's very frightened of the cartels. They're running Mexico, and I've asked her numerous times, would you like us to take out the cartels? No, Mr. President. No, please.
By the way, all foreign leaders talk exactly the same way. No, you cannot do that. No, you cannot. No, we do not like that. No. We would be glad to do that, actually.
So we have to do something because we lost. The real number is 300,000 people, in my opinion. They like to say 100,000. 100,000 is a lot of people, but the real number is 300,000 people, and we lost it to drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada, too, by the way, in case you don't know.
No.
Yeah, okay. Let's up and at them.
Right, and by and large, they come in the bags of Americans, like in suitcases and the like, or in shipping containers. They're not smuggled across by people with backpacks full of drugs.
But they come in through the southern border, and
or under it.
Something's going to have to be done with Mexico.
Something's going to have to be done with Mexico. Like the idea, ladies and gentlemen, that this is going to stop at Venezuela is I think the thing that people have to reckon with more than any other element to this is, and also I'm curious what the actual details will be on us running Venezuela now, because we have seized Venezuela for all practical purposes is the 51st state right now. It's the new Puerto Rico. We've just taken it over. And the idea that the Trump administration would want to hand that over to anybody without guarantees in the future that, it would not just be better, in terms of their positioning towards America, but towards the Trump family themselves. Like, whoever he puts in there is going to be somebody that guarantees that there's a Trump Tower Caracas. That will be the deciding factor. We got to take a break. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
And what could have taken place? We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars.
Yeah, this is the other part too. Like, I mean, it's I guess this is what you. Well, I'll save it for the air because, Christ, like this is, yeah.
And then voila.
Mm-hmm.
Action replays in magnified fortune.
Yeah, he just watched it again. Yeah. This
magnified fortune.
Yeah, this is
not good.
Agreed.
Not good.
You're going to frack.
That's right. That's what they're going to do.
He meant explosive in terms of fire.
Oh, cool. Fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's hard not to swear during this one. I got to say. It's so nuts. And it's so blatant. Like that. I mean, the whole like no foreign wars, no stupid wars, none of that stuff from the maggots. I mean, just forget it.
Back
like,
in 15.
Thank you. Just forget it.
And
They're
now
not
it's just a demented man who's like, will set the world on fire before he dies.
Yeah. And again, he's looking at. Well, I'll say this.
This is Damian Perdue of Think Theory Radio, Saturdays at 6 p.m. You're listening to House Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
So, I got to tell you, kids, like I've been on and on about the folks that alleged themselves to be pro-Palestinian and anti-IMF and all that kind of stuff, who were very happy to protest outside the DNC in Chicago, but never showed up at Mar-a-Lago, and they certainly weren't there when Trump met with Netanyahu last week, when Netanyahu was suggesting to him a second strike on Iran, which he seems inclined to do. So the idea that these folks care about, innocent people being killed. I mean, again, they're not occupying campuses to stop the war in Sudan and saying the UN or the United States must do something to stop this. When more people were killed in the Sudanese civil war in 10 days than the entirety of the Israeli-Gaza conflict. So pardon me if I call BS on some of the people. I don't doubt there's some genuine people out there who, of course, care about the Palestinians. But the people that were the subset of the subset of the subset that were walking around with signs and wearing, headscarves and all that kind of stuff, I call BS because none of them were standing outside of Mar-a-Lago during the campaign last year. Certainly not now that he is president, right? And there, you're seeing more pushback about this from like maggot Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene than you are from that crowd. So again, there's a lot of prop up, online bot account kind of things. And again, this is when you start using social media as your divining rod for finding the truth, you're in trouble already. But so Trump. Here's the other part of this. Like when we were dealing with, I marched against the Iraq War. I think a lot of people in here did. In the chat room and listening did multiple times. We were doing this all the time. And one of the big refrains was no war for oil. This was very clear. And then Trump gets in and even before he gets in last time, I mean, he said and did this, we should keep the oil. If we're going to go there, if we're going to invade, if we're going to help them or we're going to attack a place, we should keep the oil, which never mind is a war crime and is just the seizing of resources. Yeah. But he said that a bunch of times, and people just shrugged it off. They just, he's just messing around, whatever. Or maybe that's just the way he feels, but that won't be policy. And maybe that's the way they deluded themselves. It's hard to tell, honest to God. And then in regard to like Trump Plaza Gaza and touting that is literally what Kushner and Witkoff are working out right now with the Qataris and the UAE. They want to turn Gaza into an Arab peninsula that does not involve the Palestinians. That it is not about Palestinians. It's about beachfront property. It will have about as much in common with, the Gaza Strip, in terms of the people that live here and the lives they were leading, as the oceanfront did in Dubai when they built those big palm-shaped islands. It's just a place for rich Middle Easterners and their enablers across the globe to seize territory where they can, basically sit around and not live up to the religious and moral and ethical laws that they put up for everybody else. That they can bask in the hedonistic pleasures of some place because nobody else has access. But if you do something like that, you get thrown off a roof or get your hands cut off or any of that kind of stuff. That the rabble gets that, while these guys engage in all forms of depravity, right? And that's being constructed currently. That's what's happening. That's the plan. They're going to have a technocrat run the place, which means it will be run digitally, so everybody's stuff will be controlled. And Trump even said, we're going to run it. Same thing. We're going to run this, right? We're running it right now. Now listen to this part.
Going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are...
By the way, the country, it's easy for you to assume he means Venezuela.
Ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first...
Oh, by the way, he absolutely doesn't understand contingency plans.
No.
He just mentally is incapable of even grasping that you have a backup or a plan B or any of that stuff, because it's somebody else's problem.
Wave, if you'd like to call it that. The first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger...
A Point Break wave, like the ending of Point Break.
A wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. Suffered. So much was taken from them.
We can send them all back.
They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, the many, many Americans. Hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of...
Sorry, by the way, if he's talking too fast and you're losing some of the important details and the pithy nuances, I apologize, because this is just...
His brain just works so quickly.
Yeah.
American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship. They'll be heading to, ultimately, New York. And then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida.
Right. Any of the old Epstein stomping grounds.
but we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's,
yeah. Also, by the way, he just pardoned the former president of Honduras, who was put in jail for 45 years for trafficking drugs and all this kind of stuff. So I don't even know how much Maduro will take this seriously.
To do with drugs.
It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired,
Venezuela. By the way, if you're just joining us...
his Long Island is coming through, man.
If you're just joining us, the United States has taken over Venezuela. Venezuela is now the 51st state. It's Puerto Rico to the uprising.
Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over, in particular, the United States, Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang, Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide. And he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes.
Yeah, well, again, if this was a big raid, like he said, and if they were everywhere and they were trying to take... I know. Why would you go back to the only reference you have, which is like 3 guys outside of an apartment door in some sort of like turf war amongst people in a housing unit? Like it's like they took over the Capitol. Like Jan 6. Like how can you say Tren de Aragua is seizing large swaths of America and all this kind of stuff? Your only reference is this weird video from some woman's ring cam, but Jan 6 was just people, letting off steam.
They cut the fingers off people if they call police.
Made it harder to dial, I think, is the point. Yeah,
they were brutal.
Especially if you had a dial tone, an old-fashioned rotary.
It's so brutal now.
Yeah.
And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete, and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world.
Which is, by the way, can I just say, that's just ridiculous, too. Like, D.C. has the crime rate of a kind of, highly populous American city or something like that. But this dude has this is a guy who has never flown anywhere that he wasn't on his own plane or flying first class or something to any foreign country. Like, he's never, like, just like the concept, like, Burma, like Myanmar, anybody? Like, think about what you're saying.
Frankly, and now we have no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack.
Yeah, there was that.
There's that.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. A little bit of a different kind of a threat.
Yeah, so it was different killings, so.
But we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have 2, on average 2 a week.
Yeah, no, just make up a number.
And 2 a week? You do realize that's not a lot.
In Washington, our capital, we don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're going. They're walking their daughters. Happy. They're walking their children, their wives. They walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C.
Restaurants.
So I want to thank the National Guard.
Wait till he starts opening restaurants in Venezuela.
Thank our military, and I want to thank law enforcement. Been amazing.
Okay, this is just a ramble from this point forward. We got we're up against the hour of this. You're watching / listening to the House Sparks radio program Mega Worldwide. Subscribe on YouTube at infotainmentwars.com, and of course Johnny Million has a show called It's Johnny Million on YouTube and Twitch. We'll be back right after this.
I look way less disgusted during that show. My demeanor is very different on that show.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to do this morning?
Are you talking about calling you people or the?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Why did you decide to call us?
No, Don.
Nah. Yeah. That's exactly what I meant. Why'd you call Fox and Friends this morning? People, inquiring minds want to know.
Taking out
I'm not sure.
Maduro.
I'm not sure which is.
No,
I'm not sure which
committing
is
war
worse, if you
crimes.
want to know the truth. I'm calling you. I haven't spoken to anybody else because Charlie Hurd has been a great friend of mine for a long time. He was with me when it was not fashionable, and those are the people I like. He was with me, Charlie, when it was not at all fashionable. So that's the reason I'm doing this. And your show is great. You're doing a great job.
Taking Tylenol is not good.
What a good team.
But I meant, why did you make the decision to take out Maduro this morning? And what was Maduro doing?
He says with laughter, interrupting his question.
Yeah, thinking it's a joke. Like, he thinks Trump is joking.
No, why did you decide to kill innocent people? No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Why'd you bomb the capital of a foreign country?
Our guys came in on him.
I mean, the video that they're showing from Caracas looks like a trailer for Stranger Things.
So we were going to do this 4 days ago, but the weather was not perfect. The weather has to be perfect.
Okay.
And we had just the perfect weather. We had, very good.
See, he talks about it like it's golf.
A little bit few more clouds than we thought, but it was good. We waited 4 days. We were going to do this 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. And then all of a sudden it opened up and we said go. And I'll tell you, it's...
Okay, so what he means is, whether he's aware of it or not, this was not a blockade around Venezuela. This was a staging for this attack. The ships off the coast of Venezuela and all that stuff was never a blockade. It was a staging. Because that's what he's saying. We were going to go 6 days ago. We were going to go 5 days ago. They're waiting for the window, which means they had already made the decision before they sent the ships down.
It was just amazing. And what was he doing? He was in a very highly guarded, like a fortress, actually. He was in a fortress.
Whoa. Huh.
That we had nobody killed was amazing. I think we had nobody killed, I have to say, because a couple of guys were hit, but they came back and they're supposed to be in pretty good shape. But that we had nobody killed, that we lost no aircraft. Everything came back. We got it all back. One of them was hit pretty hard, but a helicopter, but we got it back. But it just was the right time to do it. We had to do it because it's a war.
Thank you.
We're losing 300,000 people a year. We don't lose that much in a war, okay, if you look. And we had to do it. But he was in it.
Yeah, now do heart disease. What are you going to do, bomb McDonald's? So goofy. Okay, we'll be back in just a second. And then, I don't know if...
You're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I've had people walk out of me before, but not when I was being so charming.
Video streaming at halsparks.com.
Oh, I don't care for you or for the putrid sludge you're troweling out.
Plus faithful stick.
True progressive talk.
Might be a good time for you guys to give up.
Yeah, so Trump was again on Fox and Friends, for the morning show. And probably we played it during the break. If you want to check it out at infotainmentwars.com on the rewatch. But he talks. They asked him why he did this, and he said, "What? Call into Fox and Friends?" Yeah. But he's describing why this was necessary, and his argument is that 300,000 people die of drug overdoses in the United States every year, which they absolutely do not. The number is under 100,000. It peaked at about 100,000 and went a little higher than that during COVID for a myriad of reasons. One, just, people, almost fearing that the end times were here, just going for it, and then a lot of people in just, lonely, disaffected, nobody there to administer Narcan, those kind of things. So there were, there's a reason why that statistically that wasn't surprised that number went up, but it went back down over time, and it's still at under 80,000, I think, was last year. And so, but Trump says he thinks we lose 300,000 people a year. 300,000 people a year for I guess forever, as long as, I mean, I don't know when he thinks this started. But, well, you'll see.
In a house that was more like a fortress than a house. It had steel doors. It had what they call a safety space, where it's,
They do not call it a safety space.
No. Yeah,
no one calls it. No one calls it a safety space. It's a panic room.
That's a great movie, Safety Space.
Yes, it is with Jodie Foster, right? Yeah. It's where some people break in and make her feel bad about her choices, so she has to break into a room with coloring books and where she feels emotionally supported.
Solid steel all around. He didn't get that space closed. He was trying to get into it, but he got bum rushed so fast that he didn't get into that. We were prepared. We had, massive blowtorches and everything else that you need to get through that steel, but we didn't need it. He didn't make it to that area of the house.
Mr. President, your war on narcoterrorism from our southern border and beyond clearly will save American lives. Moving forward for Venezuela.
Listen to the questions that she is reading.
She's reading it like a book report.
Yeah, well, these are Caroline Leavitt, White House designed questions.
Yeah.
What do you think is next for the Venezuelan people now that you have removed Maduro so that he can face American justice?
Well, we're making that decision now. We can't take a chance on letting somebody else run and just take over where he left off. So we're making that decision now. We'll be involved in it very much. And we want to do liberty for the people. We want to, have a great relationship. I think the people of Venezuela are very, very happy because they love the United States. They were run by essentially a dictatorship.
By the way, let's just clear this up. Iran is next. This sounds exactly like the justification for why you would topple the regime in Iran. For real. This is, we do know that by and large the Iranian people are very Western friendly, but the regime, is what keeps them down. This is exactly the kind of reasoning you would put forward for toppling the regime in Iran, for regime change in Iran specifically, and it's on the table. Make no mistake.
Or worse, it couldn't have been worse. It was a terrible thing that was taking place in Venezuela. But look, tremendous numbers of people were being killed through drugs. And what they did to our country in sending prisoners and people from mental institutions and drug lords and everything.
Crazy drug lords.
They sent them by the hundreds of thousands of people into our country. And that is just unforgivable. That's why, he wanted to negotiate at the end, and I didn't want to negotiate. I said, nope, we got to do it. He was trying to negotiate at the end. You probably saw that. And trying hard to make a deal.
Trying to avoid war?
Yeah, at the end, which is an interesting turn of phrase.
And I said, this could have been a very foolish thing if it didn't work out. But I said, nope, we can't do it. What he did with drugs was bad. What he did with a lot of other things was bad. But what he did was sending hundreds of thousands of Tren de Aragua and drug dealers. And they emptied out their jails into our country. They emptied out, if you think about it, they emptied out all of their mental institutions into our country.
All the asylums.
What he did there.
Yeah, and apparently, again, all of these crazy people who are, genuinely, multiple MIGs level insane from Silence of the Lambs, somehow managed to walk all the way to America in a caravan without the people around them killing them because they were a threat or whatever.
There, and every other thing.
Or they were able to drive, I guess. They're not that crazy.
Is unforgivable.
They were able to buy a plane ticket.
Mr. President, you're already getting reaction from members of Congress on both sides. One Democrat, Jim McGovern, is saying that you did not get authorization from Congress. And he says Trump just launched an unjustified illegal strike on Venezuela. I wanted to get your reaction to that.
Well, look, these are weak, stupid people. And they're trying to save themselves from almost destroying our country. If I didn't get elected, our country would not. I don't even think we'd have a country right now.
So weird.
Yeah,
this is such a weird fixation.
We were heading down the path of this.
We had the lowest unemployment we've ever had. We finally passed an infrastructure bill for the first time in 7 years? It's just so stupid.
We had inflation. We had high prices. They're the ones that caused high prices.
No, COVID did. It was supply shock. It wasn't monetary inflation.
Yeah, it was either this guy or 6 trans women in sports.
Yeah, right.
Prices way down. We have oil now in many places $1.99 a gallon.
You can get oil for $1.99 a gallon, pure Brent crude.
And when you do oil, gross. Everything follows, but everything is following. But no, they would have destroyed our country if we didn't get elected. If Kamala or a Joe type got elected, if that group got elected, but if
Democrats
Kamala got elected, I don't think at this point we would even have a country. We were laughed at all over the world. We were.
This might be the most demented thing he says lately, especially.
For real.
Yeah.
Money was flowing out.
Like his faith in the American people and the American system is pathetic. Like his lack of faith in it.
Everybody was leaving. The companies were leaving. The people were leaving. The wealth was leaving. We have 18.
The Saudis were leaving. The Russians were leaving.
$18 trillion coming back into our country, the biggest number in the history of the world. The second biggest number was $3 trillion. We're at $18 trillion, and it's building factories and plants. It's doing things that no country has ever
We've lost somewhere in the order of 40 to 60,000 manufacturing jobs.
Seen before. But as far as last night is concerned, it was really genius. What they did is genius. And the Democrats, maybe they'll take a shot. They'll take a shot. All they do is complain. They don't talk about They should say, you know what? We did a great job. We're stopping drugs from coming into this country. And nobody's been able to do it until we came along. But they should say, great job. They shouldn't say, oh, gee, maybe it's not constitutional. The same old stuff that we've been hearing for years and years.
Yeah.
That is so fun. Oh, my God. Oh, maybe it's not constitutional. Tee-hee.
Yeah. Like, how boring.
Years. They did an incredible job. These men and women that went out there last night, the courage they had, going into an area where, all the lights were turned off. We turned off.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was not a country we were at war with. There was no army. There was there were security forces, I'm sure, around the I guess, Maduro's home or something like that. But he's like, they were so brave going in there. Like, it was a lightning strike. We attacked. They're the ones who should be terrified. We have the biggest military by a factor of 7 than the next 6 combined.
Almost all of the lights in Caracas. I mean, this thing was so organized. And they go into a dark space with machine guns facing them all over the place. And then you hear from a guy that I'd never even heard of him. But you hear from some congressman saying, oh, this is so terrible. We're saving lives. And by the way, the boats, every boat, because that's sort of related to this.
Sort of.
Every boat that we hit saves 25,000 lives.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get any hosannas or thanks from certain Democrats in Congress, that's for sure. But one of the things, you've already obviously cracked down on these drug boats. You've also cracked down on these illegal oil shipments coming out of Venezuela. The countries that negotiate with Venezuela for that illegal oil are already starting to suffer. What do you see as the future of Venezuela's oil industry?
Well, I see that we're going to be very strongly involved in it. That's all. I mean, what can I say? We have the greatest oil companies in the world, the biggest, the greatest, and we're going to be very much involved in it. We can't do something like this, and we're prepared. We were prepared to do a second wave. We were all set.
Okay, yeah, this is the same stuff that he mentions in the other when he gets to his remarks about the press conference and stuff. I think the big standout part, beyond the fact that, for me anyways, is that the MAGA response to this no more foreign wars, this no more stupid wars, this no more regime change, we can't be the policemen of the world, all this kind of stuff. I mean, Trump's relationship with Netanyahu should have answered that along the way. This dragged out him buying hook, line, and sinker anything Putin says to him about the Russia-Ukraine war should have been a warning flag for a lot of these folks. But then the bombing of Iran on behalf of Israel, and then the bombing of effectively Venezuela and the seizing of their leader on behalf of, it seems, the heads of the oil companies. And again, one of the dumbest things about this, and when it all comes down, they're eventually going to be, this will be more about drugs in the story that he tells to everybody, because we are at the beginning of, we're already in one, but there is currently an oil glut of about 3 million. Where's the current number on this? This is earlier or whatever. Of about, they're expecting about 3.4 million barrels of oil in overproduction by spring. We're already at about 3, but all this other oil coming online is just going to raise that number. The idea that we're going to go into Venezuela and just start mad pumping oil like crazy is absurd. And driving, again, we get back to this thing like during COVID when oil was literally at a negative. It was negative $25 a barrel. They were paying people to take it off their hands because these tankers were just filling up and they had nowhere to put it. So the idea, and we got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Also, I think Phil is traveling this week, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why he's not with us, just for the record. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. The idea that this is about oil is just goofy. That it's needed, that it's necessary. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Trump thinks that he's going to bring all the prices of everything down via, dropping oil prices, as if materials cost, labor, which is the highest cost of all production, are going to go down magically because it costs less gas for you to drive to the factory or something.
Break. We're coming back in 10.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is Tom Hartman, and you're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
And one of the other things about this, too, is, I'll see if I can show this one to everybody, but Trump starts to doze off, not surprisingly, in the middle of this meeting, in the middle of his press conference. While Dan Raisin Kane is talking, Trump is basically like doing the whole. I sometimes
look at him. Look at him.
Yeah, the only thing that's keeping him awake is the fact that he's standing.
No.
Right. But he's doing the whole like, I'll just rest my eyes for 1 second. Okay. That business. And again, he was up all night, not truth sinkholing, I suppose. So maybe that's why he's, exhausted in this regard. This is what
intelligence agencies,
this is what Dan Kane was saying at the time,
including the CIA, NSA, and NGA. We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional. This mission was meticulously planned, drawing lessons from decades of missions over the last many years, many missions over these last many years. This was an audacious operation that only the United States could do. It required the utmost of precision and integration within our joint force. And the word integration does intelligence agencies, including the CIA, NSA, and NGA. We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional.
Also, the right side of his face is doing the big droop as well. a lot during that. And sometimes it's exhaustion, but there's been a lot of talk about his story this week, of course, about him claiming that he didn't have an MRI, he had a CT scan. And Dr. Drew and all these other apologists were popping out there going, the journalists are so stupid because they don't even know what questions to ask. And when he said he had an MRI, they should have asked him the right question about, because of what they were looking for. And we now find out that it was a CT scan. Well, the problem is that that's a lie. That the reason he's saying this the reason he's saying it was a CT scan now is because people are putting together that they're looking for plaque on his brain because they're tracking his dementia, not diagnosing something. They're not looking for something. They found it. I mean, our dear friends over at the Daily Beast have summed this up fairly well. Slurring Trump says U.S. will run Venezuela and seize oil.
Well said.
Yeah. The wild move is likely to spark a backlash from Trump's America First MAGA base. Oh, indeed it will. I look forward to the videos I will get to cover this week as people continue to freak out about all of these things because this is one of the things he allegedly ran against was, no more stupid wars, no more forever wars and whatever. The idea that we're going to seize a country and just take it and then other countries are going to follow our lead with China. China with Taiwan at least believes they have a stake, in that land. But, with what Russia has done in terms of, attacking Ukraine and their belief that they basically anywhere a Russian soldier puts his foot is Russian territory. This is just the go-ahead for a new era of invasion. And Trump's proud of it. He's so ignorant of the ramifications, and he's never dealt with the responsibility for what happens later. He's never had to deal with the ramifications of any of his decisions in his life. He always manages to skate it somehow. So he doesn't apply that kind of thought to when he does something drastic like this. What is going to be the end result? Think about the logistical nightmare of us running Venezuela. Because that's what he said. He didn't say, there was a time when if an American president said something along these lines, you would get the media and pundits and stuff would go, well, what he's really saying here is this, and you could extrapolate what he's saying to mean that there's all these other things they're not mentioning that they're obviously doing. He authorized the CIA to act within Venezuela. Then he moved the boats down there, and everybody acted like this was about 9 drug boats.
Right.
It is increasingly clear that this was a buildup specifically for for this attack today. And now he's saying that we're going to have to go into Mexico, and he said that the president of Colombia needs to watch his ass. That's a direct quote from the president. I stick to my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it to the United States, so he does have to watch his ass. That was what Trump said about Petro. Overall, this is also, a lot of people are saying this is a tipping point for Cuba because, there is an alliance of Iran, Russia, and China. And Venezuela was their biggest satellite in our hemisphere. And Cuba was kind of the one that everybody focuses on. But of the two countries, there was a lot of back and forth. And they did a lot of arms trading, a lot of money laundering through the drug trade and that kind of stuff. So it was this big filter of people who just don't care, like the crypto bros, who don't care what their money is used for as long as it makes more money. And then Trump said, where is it? Rubio said this. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. This is talking about Cuba. One of the biggest problems Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba. They tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. If I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned at least a little bit. That was from Marco Rubio today. Trump added, people there have suffered for many years. I think Cuba is something that we'll end up talking about because they're a badly failing nation, which again, if that's your standard for invasion, welcome to the age of American apartheid, where we take over large swaths of Africa. This is, I don't think he has the mental capacity to contemplate the kind of things he's saying right now. It is just a game. He is, like I said, he's talking about this like he talks about golf. He said about Claudia Sheinbaum, she's a good woman, Claudia Sheinbaum, but she's not running Mexico. The cartels run it. So I've told her I'd be glad to go in there and take them out for you. And she's like, no, please do not, no. Which, again, so very weird. And the idea, I think overall, the idea that this is just going to end here is ridiculous. This is his wag the dog, ladies and gentlemen. Trump has been looking for something to draw attention away from the Epstein files and the millions of documents being dumped out. And this is classic wag the dog. I mean, it's right up there with Grenada. And so, we will see over the next little bit. But he doesn't seem to be holding back. You need not infer what kind of crimes he's going to commit doing this. He's just saying it. He's just overtly saying, we're going to take over the country. We're going to send our companies in to take their oil. There's some wordplay about the people of Venezuela will be so rich. They're going to make Venezuela great again or something like that. It's kind of shocking, I will say. It's like nothing should really surprise us with Trump and where his brain is and the people around him that want to do these things or have wanted to do these things for a very long time. But I think it will come as a big surprise to, by and large, the maggot faithful who are going to have to defend this. Yeah. After all these years of no more stupid wars, and the most embarrassing thing ever was Afghanistan. So the Venezuela, I think, released some sort of a statement about this as well. It said the U.S. attack was a flagrant violation of the UN Charter, especially articles. I want to make sure this is. Make sure it's coming from them. Yeah. So especially Articles 1 and 2, guaranteeing respect for sovereignty and prohibiting the use of force. By the way, the Venezuelans side with Russia in the Ukraine war, so come on, but whatever. Okay, fine. The rules should apply. Just because they don't live up to them doesn't mean we shouldn't. The objective of this attack is none other than to seize Venezuela's strategic resources, particularly its oil and minerals. By attempting to forcibly break the political independence of the nation, they will not succeed. Well, we kind of will, and that's the problem. The question in this situation has never been about whether we could do this. We could do this with almost any country on the planet. It's a lot more should. So they went on and they said, after more than 200 years of independence, the people and their legitimate government remain firm in defense of sovereignty and the inalienable right to decide their own destiny. The attempt to impose a colonial war to destroy the Republican form of government and force a regime change in alliance with the fascistic oligarchy will fail like all previous attempts. It's hard to say. I don't think it'll succeed, but I think it'll be a shift down there, and different people will power struggle. And there's a big lobby in the United States of rich, Venezuelan leadership in exile that has been lobbying Marco Rubio and the president for quite some time to do exactly this, so they can move in. Well, guess what's next? Iran. The Iranian leaders, in exile are exactly the same. They've been lobbying Trump and this crowd the entire time. And it's especially weird after he granted, Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, a complete and total pardon, saying that he'd been railroaded by Joe Biden. It's just so bizarre. So at this point, it's hard to see. I mean, we'll start seeing sort of the pushback from MAGA, I suppose. But this is an extraordinary. This is the Axios article. Let me show you what the Axios article. This just come out because a lot of this, what we're dealing with, is breaking news, and that can be fun sometimes. Trump. U.S. will run Venezuela, not afraid of boots on the ground. Like, all of the limitations, all of the warnings from MAGA, all of that stuff is gone. All of them going, no more foreign wars, their aversion to boots on the ground. Forget it. It's the 51st state. You're off the hook, Canada. Congratulations. Trump said Saturday the U.S. is going to run Venezuela until a proper transition can take place, which, whatever that is, without any standard for what that means. We're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. He said the U.S. will rebuild the country's oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars, so American taxpayer money is going to help American oil companies rebuild the oil infrastructure there, while sectarian fighting, I guess, happens around them at all times. And he said, we're not afraid of boots on the ground. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level.
Whatever that means.
Oh my, at a very high level. High level of boots on the ground. Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio had spoken with Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez about the country's next steps. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice, Trump said. Under Venezuelan law, Rodriguez would be next in line to assume power from Maduro, but it's unclear that the Trump administration would accept her as the country's leader, because she's now a governor for the 51st state. Trump's announcement that the U.S. would temporarily take control of Venezuela and its oil infrastructure is arguably the most unvarnished assertion of American imperialism since the invasion of Iraq. Now, I would argue, no. The invasion of Iraq was not with the idea of seizing that ground, of turning... we did not... For all of the faults of George W. Bush, and there are myriad, the idea was never... Oh, I ran past the break, sorry. The idea was never that... We'll take a quick break. We'll come back after this. But we didn't invade Iraq to take their resources and their space. This was a revenge tour. So that wasn't American imperialism, because Iran basically runs the place now. This is. We'll be back right after this. Let's see, move this over here. You can just see people typing, writing these stories up, going, what the
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stand by, coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Now let's get back with Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
So this is not the first time we've done this dance. Trump said in February of this year, of last year. Look at that. I'm still writing 2025 on my checks. Trump claims U.S. will take over Gaza and turn it into a new Riviera. He declared that the U.S. will take over Gaza Strip and own it. Remember that? Remember that? All the, with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and their stupid two-state solution, right? We can't have that. We can't keep pushing for that. We can't. And he literally comes out and says it alongside Netanyahu, standing right next to him. In February, he meets with Netanyahu and says, we will take over the Gaza Strip and own it. The U.S., not our partners in the Middle East and blah, blah, us. Asked if he was planning a permanent occupation of Gaza, Trump said, I do see a long-term ownership position.
Cheese and crow.
Yeah. And this is exactly the same thing. Like, this is Donald Trump is the most imperialist U.S. president ever. Clearly. I mean, even when we fought Germany and Japan, we didn't take over those countries when we were done. When we helped China defeat the Japanese and drive them out, we didn't take over China. We didn't seize their stuff. It's mind-boggling, and I'm really curious how maggots respond to this. Like, I know our side is on fire about it, as we should be, but it's a little. I guess maybe Trump. Oh, and by the way, they're showing. This is also making the rounds that Trump is. Trump 79 teeters on the brink of sleep as general speaks. Where they show him just kind of like dozing and that will be, a continued part of the story because again, like what happens when he keels over in a couple of months and JD Vance takes over and he's responsible for the cleanup of Venezuela? I mean, do we just leave? Do we just go, never mind, that was a bad idea? Or does he commit because this is now the new MAGA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Million, your thoughts insofar as not swearing?
For those watching this stream, they've seen my face this entire stream, so they know my thoughts. I'm disgusted. I'm embarrassed. I'm saddened for not only what he's already done, but just the potential of what doors this kicks open and like putting countries on notice.
Right.
We're no better than Putin with this attitude. It's the worst.
Yeah. Of course, the New York Times has literally declared his attack on Venezuela illegal and unwise is their phrase.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I mean, once you get to illegal, I don't care about the wisdom of it. You know what I mean? Like it's not only is it illegal, it's a stupid idea, which is I think what they just go ahead and say it for God's sake. This is the opinion of the editorial board, and this didn't take them long, kids. Trump's attack on Venezuela is illegal and unwise. Over the past few months, Trump has deployed an imposing military force in the Caribbean to threaten Venezuela. By the way, we now know this was a military buildup. It was never a threat. He was planning on doing this the entire time. He admitted so much at the press conference today. Trump dramatically escalated his campaign by capturing Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela as part of what he called a large-scale strike against the country. This is, again, this sort of a Saddam Hussein situation. There's a lot of parallels to this idea of Saddam Hussein. The nominal rationale for the administration's military adventurism is to destroy narco-terrorists. Governments throughout history have labeled the leaders of rival nations as terrorists, seeking to justify military incursion as policing operations. The claim is particularly ludicrous in this case, given that Venezuela is not a powerful producer of fentanyl or the other drugs that have dominated the recent epidemic of overdoses in the United States. And the cocaine that it does produce flows mostly to Europe. While Mr. Trump has been attacking Venezuelan boats, he also pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez, who ran a sprawling drug operation when he was president of Honduras from 2014 to 2022, and he was arrested by the Biden administration. A more plausible explanation for the attacks on Venezuela may be instead found in his recently released national security strategy. It claimed that the right to dominate Latin America after years of neglect. The United States will reassert and enforce the Monroe Doctrine to restore American preeminence in the Western Hemisphere. In what the document called the Trump Corollary, the administration vowed to redeploy forces from around the world to the region, stop traffickers on the high seas, use lethal force against migrants and drug runners, and potentially base more U.S. troops around the region. It really is... This is exactly what he's talking about. And I would argue, that there's the original text of the Monroe Doctrine. I'm showing it on the screen right there. But I think it has more to do with the technocracy map of America. Now, I have shown this on because this was a map that Elon Musk's maternal grandfather was. Well, here I'll show you because this is part of that. The map itself shows this. If you ever look, if you're just listening on the air, look up, at the Technocracy Inc. and the Technate of America, and you'll find this map. And the map explains a lot about why Trump started talking about Canada and Greenland and the Panama Canal. But you'll also notice that the very bottom of it is Venezuela. The end of the map, the territory, instead of being able to seize Greenland first, he just decided to go for the low-hanging fruit, which would be Venezuela, and then work his way up, controlling Central America, expanding American territories, and then eventually, I suppose, either causing a sort of a parasitic relationship with Canada, where it, forcing them into a parasitic situation where they can't sustain their economy without us by doing, through all kinds of maneuvering, so they don't really have a choice. But this map is exactly what Elon Musk was pitching to Donald Trump when they started hanging out all the time. And there are a bunch of people around him, including in the J.D. Vance world, that agree with this. This is what they think the United States should look like. It should include Venezuela all the way up through Central America, all the way up Canada, Alaska, and Greenland. And parts of, I guess, the North Pole. Like, literally, satellite islands and glaciers and whatnot. Things where nobody can live, but, at least now, until global warming shifts the water everywhere else. But this fits right in. So, again, this points to the fact that these boats were not sent down there to intimidate Maduro. These boats were not sent down there to blow up speedboats full of cocaine that were going to Trinidad and then were going to Europe. This was an act of establishing the Technate of America, the future AI-run world that Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and all of the PayPal mafia and J.D. Vance's buddies all believe in. And the fact that Venezuela is an important part of this, right there, is incredibly telling. And this seems to be the first shot across the bow at that new version of American imperialism based on a technocratic seizing of territory all throughout this area. So originally he talked a lot about the Panama Canal and Panama specifically, but he means this includes like Cuba. It includes Canada. It includes, of course, Greenland, and then well off into these like far islands off of Alaska. The idea is that they want to control all of this, and this is a map that was created by people aligned with Elon Musk's maternal grandfather, the most inspiring person to him, the person that he thought was, the most driven and intellectually powerful person he knew, and the person he sought most to emulate over the course of his life. And it looks like Donald Trump is carrying out that plan. Are you all right there, Johnny? Did we lose you?
Yeah, sorry. One of my headphones, the battery crapped out, so I was breaking up the case.
I'm familiar.
Yep.
So this seems to be a really telling aspect of this. This seems to be very in line with we own it now. This is the way Trump said it. We own it now. We own Venezuela. And even if we pick the leader, the idea that somehow these folks are going to, come up with their own plan for Venezuela is absurd, because I'm sure that whoever he and the people around him who are interested in this technocracy, which is, by the way, how they describe, it'll be a technocrat that runs Gaza. It'll be this is what they're talking about, like the rationing of energy and goods. for everybody based on, who's deserving the most of, from an engineering standpoint. This is how they think it should be run. That the people that produce should get more stuff, and the people that don't should just die. And this is, it explains their healthcare plan. It explains how Trump, while he's picking out marble armrests, which is insane, for the Kennedy Center, he thinks the affordability crisis is a Democrat hoax. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. This is crazy.
There's always someone, whining about the Constitution or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Stupid Constitution.
Always looking for problems. My dad used to say that when I was a kid, I asked him what the difference between a Democrat and Republican was, and he said Democrats are always looking for problems to throw money at. In other words,
solve.
Yeah, everything's fine for me. Why try to help anybody else?
Mm-hmm.
We're back in 15.
I am happy, you are happy, let us be happy together, whether the weather is cloudy or sunny. I will always be your funny honey bunny. I am lucky, you are lucky, let us get lucky together, whether the weather is cloudy or breezy. I'll be there to say, hey, come on, let's take it easy. 'Cause isn't it nice to have the friends that you do? And isn't it nice that the sky is so blue? And isn't it nice to say I love you, chugga chugga choo choo, woo woo. I am smiling, you are smiling, let us smile together, whether the weather is cloudy or stormy. I will still be there in the morning, I'll be right by your side in the morning. I'll make you breakfast in the morning, I hope that you like cereal.
Yay! I'm so trying to
find a happy ending.
I'm so trying to find this picture from a movie called Looker. Did you ever see Looker? With
I don't think so.
Albert Finney and Susan Day.
Oh wow! From the Partridge Family. Yeah,
and she's topless in it, which was very scandalous at the time. There's the idea is that they're hypnotizing people, using advertising or whatever, and they start scanning these women, doing a digital reproduction of them so that they can make perfect commercials to control everyone's mind. This is a Crichton movie. He wrote and directed it. And there's a lot to it that's kind of surprisingly realistic, to especially like AI videos. I mean, he sort of predicted AI slop with it, right?
Damn.
And there's this shot of him. I wish I could find it, with him wearing these glasses that they wear wearing the Looker there's this gun that hypnotizes you, which is where the flashy thing in Men in Black came from. It was stolen from the gun in Looker, right? And I'll see if I'll show it on the air, but there's a picture of this guy, and they wear these silver glasses, and I was looking for a picture where it had the silver glasses on him, just so I could show you guys how much it looks like
that guy.
How much it looks like Maduro. Maduro. Yeah. So this is a picture of Maduro captured and on the USS Iwo Jima. Again.
Blindfold?
And yeah, it's like a blindfold glasses. They put it on you. Yeah, I mean, this is the same stuff they put on you if they take you to Guantanamo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Andrea was like, first movie before Coma came out, makes you think. Yeah, that's CSL. That's the picture of Albert Finney in the glasses, but I couldn't find one of Rick in it. Yeah. And I'll try, I'm gonna try and find that at some point. Where is it? Yeah. But here we go. Back to this. But the point being is that they have captured this guy. They're taking him to New York and then maybe Miami, according to Trump. And here's how you can tell this is bad. is what the person that they're pulling out to talk about this outside of the Trump administration that can explain what's going on probably the best is John Bolton, who was on News Nation saying this is step one in a much larger process. And I would argue that he, whether he's aware of it or not, is talking about the technate of America. That's just the reality. Like, and I more and more we're going to start seeing he's going to start talking about Greenland again, and then this idea that they're going to bookend and move their way towards, asserting control throughout the hemisphere on our side of the globe almost entirely, to separate ourselves out from what's going on with China and Russia and let them eat themselves, I think might be the theory. And by the way, the idea that this is Trump's idea is ridiculous. Like, he's on board. He's on board. Like, they'll present it to him.
The vibe of it.
Yes, and they'll present it to him as like, this is it'll make you look like a tough guy, and this is awesome, and that's all you need actually to get him on board and get him to okay these kind of strikes. He doesn't understand the long-term ramifications of them. He doesn't understand constitutionality. He doesn't understand that a country that wants to invade the United States wants to turn the country into another thing entirely. It wants to change our way of life into their way of life. That's what an invasion is all about. Well, that's what MAGA is. It's an invasion. It's very much like it was like Anthony. Was it Anthony Tucci in Captain America: The First Avenger, where he goes, "People forget that the first country that the Nazis invaded was their own." And that's very much where we are right now. Like, these guys hate the Constitution. They hate the equal protection under the law aspect of it. They hate that they have to share the country with people that they think are less than them. And so they're going to try and change it so that no longer applies. And this is increasingly odd. And I'm curious to see, like I said, how MAGA is going to respond to this over the coming week. Because, again, this is not a one and done. He might have gotten away with this in the same way that the Iran strike, there was a lot of blowback on the right. A lot of MAGAs freaked out about us effectively acting as an arm of the Israeli government and attacking a sovereign country and yada, yada. But since it was one and done, they kind of moved on fairly quickly. But we're not moving on quickly from this Venezuela situation. This very well could be its own form, like an economic Vietnam. Yeah. And this is starting. Well, we'll. I'm sure this will play out over the next little bit. But MAGA in full revolt against Trump over Venezuela attack. Americans disgusted with our own government's never-ending military aggression and support of foreign wars is justified because we are forced to pay for it. And both parties, Republicans and Democrats, always keep the Washington military machine funded and going. Wrote Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is what many in MAGA thought they voted to end. Boy, were we wrong. Yeah, dummy. And also, Biden ended the Afghanistan war. Trump continued it the entire time he was in. He ran on ending it, and then Biden gets in and goes, the most embarrassing thing was our exit from Afghanistan. No. The most embarrassing thing was every day after we knew it was not a winnable thing, or we weren't going to take control of the country, we were literally deciding to 51st state it. Every day we stayed after it, that was the most embarrassing day. Leaving was ripping a Band-Aid off, was dealing with the something that had built up into something awful over a decade.
Right.
Yeah. And the idea that he's just flat out saying we're going to run the country. Let's see. Was it Owen Schroyer who's writing something? Yeah. Candace Owens, who suggests the Trump administration carry out the attack on the behest of globalist psychopaths. That's a light touch. Venezuela has been liberated, like Syria, Afghanistan, and Iraq were liberated, Owens wrote on social media. The CIA has staged another hostile takeover of a country at the behest of globalist psychopaths. That's it. That's what is happening always, everywhere. And Rokana, obviously teaming with Massey has been like a, kind of a crossover person in terms of MAGA and the Epstein Files crowd really like Ro Khanna right now because of his partnership with Massey. Donald Trump betrayed his MAGA base today, launching a war of choice to bring regime change in Venezuela. We keep voting against dumb wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya, but our presidents bow to a foreign policy blob committed to militarism. They get us entangled in conflicts abroad while ignoring the lack of good jobs and high costs for Americans at home. And this is Marjorie Taylor Greene again. I'll see if I can open this guy up. Maybe not. I've served on the Homeland Security Committee for the past 3 years. I'm 100% for strong, safe, secure borders, blah, blah. Okay, fentanyl is responsible for 70% of U.S. drug overdose deaths. Mexican cartels are primarily and overwhelmingly responsible for killing Americans with deadly drugs. If the U.S. military action regime change in Venezuela was really about saving American lives from deadly drugs, then why hasn't the Trump administration taken action against Mexican cartels? Well, hang on to your hat, Marge, because that's right around the corner. Careful what you wish for, dum-dum. And if prosecuting narco-terrorists is a high priority, then why did Trump pardon former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was convicted and sentenced to 45 years for trafficking hundreds of tons of cocaine into America? Ironically, cocaine is the same drug that Venezuela primarily traffics into the U.S., except most of theirs goes to Europe again. The next obvious observation is that by removing Maduro is a clear move for control over Venezuelan oil supplies that will ensure stability for the next obvious regime change war in Iran. She's not wrong here. She's just dumb. And of course, why is it okay for America to militarily invade, bomb, and arrest a foreign leader, but Russia is evil for invading Ukraine and China's bad for aggression against Taiwan? Is it only okay if we do it? I'm not endorsing Russia or China. Yeah, we get the irony. Regime change funding foreign wars and America's tax dollars being consistently funneled to foreign causes, foreigners both home and abroad, and foreign governments while Americans are consistently facing increasing costs of living, housing, healthcare, and learn about scams and fraud of their own tax dollars is why most Americans is what has most Americans enraged, especially the younger generation. I don't know if that's true. Boomers and half of Generation X will cheer on neocon wars talking points, but the other half of Gen X and majority on down will see through it and hate it. This is a long statement. Yeah, this is the part where she says, this is what MAGA thought they voted for. Boy, were we wrong. As the baby boomers slip away, both in votes and power, the electoral future will be decided for candidates that focus on American economic populism and promising prosperity for Americans only. As of right now, neither party is offering that solution. I would like to say this both-siderism is a very convenient out for the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world when there is obviously a huge difference. And this is, the corruption that when you run into it on the Democratic side versus the corruption on the Republican side is immeasurably different. Like, it is an order of magnitude higher on the Republican side. And it's egregious and overt and brazen. They don't care. They're proud of it. So the idea that, both sides do it is an easy way out when you were siding with the one that's getting busted for it right now. You will never hear me when I am criticizing a Democrat that both sides do it. I will simply just criticize that policy that I disagree with. We can talk about the fringes in the political electorate, but this is just their way of this is like the people under George W. Bush who after his term ended, they didn't want to vote for Obama, but they claimed to be independents all of a sudden. I mean, they'd voted for every Republican since Reagan, but suddenly they were independents, right-leaning independents. Like, look, you're still wearing the R in your jersey. Get over yourself. And again, one of the things, and we're going to keep an eye on it on the live stream this week, I have no doubt, because this is going to be one of the bigger things, is Trump is flat out saying this is not even the idea that both sides do it is just a lie. There is no situation where Obama's like, we're going to run this country now. Biden, we're going to run this country now. Even Harris with Gaza. Trump brags about it. There is a difference between the parties. Stop pretending there isn't just to excuse your voting for people who are doing the worst thing that we've seen in our country in decades. All right. Much love, Johnny Million. You're awesome. Big hug. Thank you, Chicago. Thanks, chat room. And we will see you guys next time. And my goodness, thank you so much, Hal Vickery. Bless your heart for that.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say Happy New Year, and I turned on the TV this morning, but I guess I should say Truck Fump. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Happy New Year.
Indeed.
Thank you. Happy New Year, Chicago. Impeach and remove this garbage now. Well, hey, we need the votes, and we're not going to have them unless it's Democrats. I don't give a damn what anybody says. The maggots will get really upset about this in the electorate, but they're not going to impeach him. They're going to maybe not push bills through. They're going to try and slow roll it. But at this point, he doesn't need their permission. He's using the authorized use of military force as an excuse, to turn anybody he doesn't like into a terrorist. And that gives him the ability to bomb them or catch them. Yes, thanks, CSL. I was thinking the exact same thing with grabbing that. Is Trump keeping oil down like 41 or up like 43? I think he's literally trying to have control over that market. Execs will celebrate in the billionaire ballroom. Yeah. There's a reason why it needs to be anti-drones when he started talking like Gollum the other day. Thank you, Nola Carnes. Thank you. We'll keep doing it, Karen. Don't worry. And Johnny Million, you're awesome. Don't forget.
Thank you. My headphones are about to crap out.
Okay, I'm just getting through we got a good group of super chats today. Thank you so much. The objection is that problem with any objection by the UN is that we basically have the UN hold the UN hostage by hosting them here. I don't think it would have any impact anyways, because China and Russia only care because it's their buddy. They don't care because of the principle. I heard that Don Jr. was overheard saying, "Dad, don't do it because it'll hurt my friends." Yeah, right. And then thank you, Michael. Vote for Democrats. If we had a Democratic House and a Senate, not to mention even with Manchin in there, even as annoying as Fetterman can be for you, unless you live in Philadelphia, you can't do anything about it anyways. But as much as those people are annoying. And they're not on 100% of the time, you bet your ass that they would be capable of impeaching him now and stopping this shit. And Republicans just won't. Period. End of story. There is a huge difference between the parties right now. People are saying a photo released by Trump showing a blindfolded Maduro is a violation of the Geneva Convention. It isn't. You can transport political and military prisoners blindfolded. It isn't. And I'm glad as well, VJ Kodak. Thank you so much. And happy birthday, Vincent Owens. We won't forget. And that's it. Yeah. And then, of course, Michelle saying there should be consequences, and he gets off every single time because he doesn't recognize these consequences. He's not going to have, there's no blowback. So he doesn't even think about what the potential blowback could be in a decision because it's never going to come up. That's why there have to be ramifications in these situations. And it's just going to get ugly. Anyways, much love to you, brother. I'll let you go with your dying headphones, and I will talk to you very soon. On January 31st, I'll be in town doing the show in Chicago because I'm doing a fundraiser for Indivisible that night, doing stand-up with a couple of friends, including Patty Vasquez and Dwayne Kennedy, who I adore. Dwayne Kennedy's a comedian.
Saturday the 31st.
Yeah. So I'll be doing the show at the station, and hopefully we can get together there and do it there, and that'd be really fun. Yeah. And then I'll probably get in the night before and stay till late Sunday or something so we can have a meal and hug. Anyways, love you, brother. Take care, and I'll let you go. Up. Yeah. Okay. Bye. There you go. Soon. Okay. Bye. There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you guys so much. What a crazy day. I gotta say, and this is why it was a surprise attack. I was not expecting to wake up this morning after my bout with what I believe was food poisoning last night. It was not fun. Yeah, it was. I'm not one of those people who throws up easily. I fight it to the bitter end. And I lost that battle twice last night. It was not a good time. So I literally was like, I might have to do a best of this morning when I got up, because I had that sort of like tired and clammy forehead. You know that feeling after you've had a night like that? And having never drank in my life, I don't have the experience of a bunch of, like drunken nights where, I was praying to the porcelain idol. So yeah, I don't know what it was. I didn't have much yesterday. It was something funky. We still want you to do the Jack Smith deposition? Absolutely. I was thinking Tuesday we would do the whole thing. Just start early and just do the whole thing, or just have it on, or I might like slice it up into hours, because it's 8 hours long, and some of it's not necessary. But yeah, it was an omen. I may have started throwing up right about the time we were invading, maybe. But your body, yeah, my body was just like, you should not be here, and it was just like, hurrah! So, and I literally, I have to say, like this morning, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do a real show, because I turned on the news and this was happening. I was like, what the ever-loving shit? And then I was like, well, I definitely have to do a show now, but what happens if I have to throw up during the show? Because I thought, I'm pretty sure it's passed. It sneaks up on you sometimes, but I'm pretty sure I got through it this morning about 5 a.m., and I was like, okay, I think that's the last of it. And I was like, I'm going to have to come up with a hand signal for Johnny Million, just like that, to let him know I'm going to run over and like mute my mic and throw up and come back. I honestly, it's easier when you're drunk. Well, I will never know. So, but I made it through the show, which is good. And yeah. Too many raw eggs? No, I didn't have any raw eggs yesterday. I didn't. Those things don't kind of last or whatever. That was, I'm not quite sure what it was. Yeah. Like I said, yeah. It wasn't ground beef. I didn't eat beef yesterday. Like, I think it was something I drank. I think it was something like I don't know, a bad kombucha or whatever. I literally felt that way after I had a bowl of cereal, and the milk wasn't bad. It was brand new. So I really couldn't figure out, but it was definitely like yeah, we're done. Whatever it was. So I was like, okay, as long as it's out. Calling dinosaurs is never fun. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what it is? I love that. Norovirus is quick. Yeah, could be that. Thank you, Kathy. I agree. I am a great actor. I'm very good at it. It's nice. Talent is just falling in love with something before everybody else does. So you got to jump on practicing. Bad lettuce. Did I have lettuce? I mean, in all honesty, it could have been something that I ate, a day or so before, or something that just festered. Who knows? But it was bad. Listeria in your vegetables? Yeah. Anyway, so. Yeah, something normal that went bad. Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, I totally hydrated. So I've got a little probiotic, one of those probiotic bubbly sodas. I had this here just in case. I was like, oh, if I start feeling it, I'll have something bubbly. Yeah. That's funny, Fish Delight. What's the difference between bad kombucha and good kombucha? Bottled versus in a pan under a bed. This is carrying out Elon's TechNate plan. I agree. I think that's where we're headed. So we'll see. We'll see what their next. Watch if he starts talking about Mexico and Greenland a lot, and Canada again. Yeah. Yep. So we'll just follow the news the rest of the day, and I'll see you guys. I don't have a show on Monday because I'm traveling, so apologies. So I will see you next on Tuesday. And if I get back early on Monday, if there's some following around, I'll jump on. But my kid's still on winter break, so we're hanging. And I love you guys, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And don't forget to hit the like, share the show, subscribe, for God's sake, subscribe. And in terms of the Venezuela strike, is some bullshit. Thanks, Mark P. Appreciate it.